All right, everybody, it's the Bears post-game show. Bears lose to the Lions. This show, the mid-show, is presented by Miller Lite. It's coming at you a little late today. You guys were out hunting. I was out in San Diego for work. So we apologize for that, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. We still want to talk about the game. Right out the jump, quite the polarizing game from my front, at least. Bears fans feels like it's as divisive as it's been in a long time. I don't know if you guys feel that or not.
Yeah, I mean, I've been having a wrestling match inside my own brain. So it's I see both sides of the argument. So yeah, I've seen the people, the angry people online, and I saw your post game, which is like, hey, like that's a perfect situation, where you didn't win, so you didn't mess up your draft. Fields look pretty good, so it's just about driving nails in the coffin for Eberflus, and that's certainly and Getsy, and that happened. So from your perspective, it's a perfect situation. I guess I'm getting more as we get more and more games like that, or if we do, I'm starting to worry that there's no way out of this.
It's just like too much of a losing culture.
But that, and then it's like, or even like if they do a lot of the same things, against Atlanta, Arizona, Minnesota next week, they're not going to lose out, I don't think, if they can reach do a lot of the same things they did yesterday. But it's like, so then you are going to mess up your draft, and then you still don't I'm not convinced that Drake May or Caleb Williams, if they get 2 or 1, 2, 3, 4, wherever they're picking, is going to be like a substantial upgrade. Like I'm kind of wavering on those guys too. So then it's like you are kind of coming back to Justin Fields, but it's like, is he necessarily the guy? And you still don't know. So then you're just stuck in the mud again for another year. That's the nightmare scenario.
I don't know why people are asking if Justin Fields is the guy. He's not the guy. People need to stop asking that. It's 39 games. You said it best, though. I think that Bears fans should be, and I don't know shit about quarterbacking or what scouts are looking for in a quarterback in terms of growth and potential and all that, but after what Drake May and Caleb Williams have done the last 3, 4, 5 weeks or whatever, like I'm a little worried about that too.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's like it's not
on another quarterback,
right? I do know it's not Justin Fields though. It's not Justin Fields, but who in the fuck is it?
Well, hold on a second. I thought he was pretty good yesterday.
That's fine.
Hold on.
Pretty good. It's not good enough.
Hold on. I just went back. I watched the entire second half this afternoon, and while I don't think that he's the guy, they had 14 out of 18 of his. He was the runner that we saw moving the ball. Mm-hmm. They controlled the ball. They kept the offense on the field. So if he can do those things and then have the big plays, which we saw, I think he had a 29-yard run. He had the big touchdown pass to DJ Moore. If he can be a guy that uses his legs to help manage the game and has enough explosive plays here and there to put points on the board, can they put together enough on defense to make it a team that can win rather than rolling the dice on another quarterback and starting over again completely? That's kind of where I am. So I thought that was the most he showed in a long time was yesterday. Second half, they went away from, which we see a lot. They came out of the gates running the ball with him, design runs for him. He got in a groove. They went away from that in the second half, and he pissed down his leg. I don't know how much of that was his fault. He made the right read on that deep play to Scott because the safety came down on DJ Moore on that 3rd and long. He did a lot of things right. It was just like a little bit off, but it's like it's everything else that it has me more worried. I wish that Caleb Williams and Drake May looked like legitimate Andrew Luck, Trevor Lawrence type guys coming out, and not that Trevor Lawrence is looking amazing, but he was that type of a prospect. they've slipped in my mind where it's like, I don't know if it's such a sure thing to roll the dice. You might just want to go get the 2 best guys available in the top 5 and just get an offense designed actually for Justin Fields and have a good coaching staff and do it that way. I don't know. That's where where it's like I'm having a wrestling match with myself, my own brain.
Yeah. Well, that's where I've been. So I thought he looked pretty good. I think that's like his sweet spot. If he could get 80 to 100, which I know is asking a lot with his legs, and then he could get 150 to 200 with his arm, like that's fine. Like that's kind of all you need. Like the offense, they didn't close drives. They should have closed more drives. Obviously, we settled for field goals, which can a lot of it go back to Eberflus making that call and, Getsy being a little chicken shit there at the end. But I didn't like, and of course, like I do agree with Dave where like the flaws were still there too. Like you just watch him like key in on one read, and that's like, it's like, what are we doing? Like I see that from my Barstool. Of course, like the DB in the game is going to see that too. Like there's still warts, as you would say, but I don't know. I've stood pretty firm in that I think there's something there, and I understand people think that might be crazy of me. So be it. My biggest argument for why it's not the case is because when you ask someone, is he the guy? If you have to think about it that long, that makes it kind of
that answers the question.
Correct.
Well,
yes. But I think, like I said, I think the guy is all relative, right? Like I said, I think at the beginning of the year that, like, I think, what are you looking at? You got a ghost in your apartment?
There's a green splotch, and I couldn't figure out where it was coming from.
It's like, Jesus.
My closet. It was backwards. So just go ahead.
What the fuck? It's relative, right? Like I said at the beginning of the year, I was like, I am very confident that Justin Fields is going to be able to get the Bears to the playoffs, and he could win playoff games. I don't know if he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. There's only a handful of those, but I was very confident in that in the beginning of the year. Now, what's like the step below that? Like getting to the playoffs, can he win a playoff game? I don't know, but that's where I guess it could kind of be. But I understand that there's fucking craziness from that take because his record is what it is. So
yeah, like this is what I don't get. Like so many people are so quick to throw, like Tom Brady, for instance. We'll use him as like, oh, he's got the best record ever. It's like, okay, the lock of like Justin Fields. If you want to use the same argument, what is he as a starter?
Sure. Listen, I get it. And that's why it's a polarizing time to be a Bears fan. Bears fans are at each other's throats. They're at each other's necks about this guy. And I get it. One side will be right in the end. I just don't think we really know who it is yet. And that's all I'm saying.
But Dave. No. Time out. This is to me, these are I think we have to define what, the guy is. Okay. I think, Dave, you're right. You can close the book on him being a Mahomes, a Burrow, one of these elite guys. But there's not many of those. If you look around the league right now, where it's Trevor Lawrence, he does not look like they're a good team, but he's not.
A weird year for quarterbacks as a whole, but
okay. Justin Herbert has taken a step back. The Browns are in a weird spot. Deshaun's out. Like they don't know what they're doing at court. But the Steelers have a winning record with Kenny Pickett. There's a lot of teams that are getting more, and they have more around it, and they have a winning culture, and they have a good defense and good players around their quarterback. But can Justin Fields, if you put him in a system like that, be what Eddie's saying? Where I don't think Eddie, I don't think you're saying he's a guy like you. Hey, we got our guy, and no, everything else, he's gonna take over and win the game. No one is. I think you're right, Dave. Close the book on that. Can he be one of those guys that he can run the ball? Because I've always said, I don't care how you move the ball downfield. Just move it down the field. And that yesterday, 18 runs for 100 yards or whatever, and 200 yards, and he didn't really turn the ball over until the strip sack at the end. If you do that and you have a real defense, then I think you can be a playoff team with it. And I think that's the conversation now.
Aspirations are just higher. So it's like, you got to find a guy like that's the ultimate goal is to.
Of course, everyone's aspirations.
And that's fine, Dave.
It's damn near impossible. Yeah, and like
you have to keep trying, though.
I get you have to keep trying, and that's where it gets to where Bears fans are another polarizing conversation is there wasn't many, but some people were mad with my take. Were like, oh, that's a perfect game. Listen, I don't want to be a fucking loser anymore either. Okay. But in the meantime, it is what it is. Like, this is the situation in the interim. Did you not see what fucking all the Jags fans are saying? They're thanking the Jets for winning those 2 meaningless fucking games. So they got Zach Wilson, stuck with Zach Wilson, and they got Trevor Lawrence. This shit matters. It just does. Yeah, I get it. I don't want to lose either. And I know we already got the Panthers chip, but if you're not going to make the playoffs, there is no fucking point of winning games. There's just not. Sure, like you want your young guys to play well, and I thought they did. We had 4.
I thought they did too.
Yeah, we had 4 takeaways. Tyreek Stevenson, Edwards, our younger guys. And guess who we got burned by at the end there? Eddie fucking Jackson, all right? He's not going to be in the future plans.
Yeah.
So
I do want to say something about that, though. The takeaways things. I thought the defensive they were more giveaways than takeaways. It wasn't.
I don't disagree, but this defense at a point earlier in the season, they were so bad. I think they don't make those plays almost.
All right, that's fine too. But like if you think about like great defenses, they're making shit happen. They're getting hands on the ball. They're getting strip sacks. They're making great plays on like those 50-50 balls. That wasn't the case yesterday. So I know people like those were giveaways by Goff. It wasn't like the defense putting their will, enforcing their will onto Jared Goff. Like he had some brain cramps in that game. And that's like, I thought the defense by and large was very unimpressive in that game.
Listen, I think you're right. The one was batted down. One, I think Laporta went the wrong route. I get it. But like I said, you got to make the plays that are given to you. And they were able to do that. So, of course, at the end there, like I said, the first touchdown it looked like Eddie Jackson's got to me. I haven't, like I said, I've been traveling all weekend. I haven't seen it.
It was 100% Eddie Jackson's guy. I went there. They were in cover 2. You have to be deeper than the deepest. Jalen Johnson broke to the sideline on his guy. That's Eddie Jackson's guy 100% of the time. He's looking in the backfield. He's like that. You're a moron for making that play. Like you've been in the league for 6-7 years now, and you can't like in a critical spot do a very basic thing as a free safety and get deeper than the deepest. Like he should have been in position to at least get a hand on that ball, make it a difficult play. He just gets caught watching and gets beat. That was pathetic. And he had all these other, like, even on the Monty touchdown run, I know he tackled Gibbs at the goal line, kind of like, caressed him down, laid his head down gently right before the goal line. But like, he just stick your fucking shoulder in there, stick your head in there. He doesn't do anything exceptionally. The fall from grace this guy has had from 18 when he was making all the interceptions and the touchdowns and had the swagger, and Ed Reed, like, you're up next. You're the next great free safety. He's a fucking bum. He might be the worst player on that defense.
He really might be. And I'll say this. I said it before. I'm like, Eddie Jackson's not as good as people are saying. Back to like the original, your point a few minutes ago when like they were giveaways, not takeaways. He was a product of a lot of giveaways back when he was getting all that praise. I'm like, I don't know about that.
And listen, in these competitive games, another good thing you come for them is you're able to see some of these guys, like we saw in that Saints game. Gordon had a good game. That's like something you take with us. In yesterday's game, Tyler Scott, like he's not anywhere near Velus Jones territory, but he fumbled obviously, and then he had that millisecond clutch where he would have been home sailing if he just runs that route. Little shit like that we're able to get more of a read on when they're in games like this. So that's a good spot to be in. I'm not, like I said, he's a rookie and he still needs time to get his feet wet and everything, but it's good that this shit is happening now.
Yeah. And there were guys who I thought Tevin Jenkins had another really good game. Braxton
the line's been a lot better.
The line has been a lot better. Darnell Wright was solid with the exception of, he got beat by Aiden Hutchinson, where just pinned his ears back 30 seconds to go. Probably doesn't actually change anything, but it was like, all right, they have a few guys. I think they might have swung and missed on Edmonds though. Edmonds is, I know he had the interception, but the missed tackles it's every week. And like there was a critical one on that third down where it's like they let him pick up the first down, they let him pick up the extra yards. And it's just like, it's basic stuff. And you're a big free agent signing and you can't break down and make a tackle in a big spot. Like, I don't know how you expect to win games doing things like that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a fair point. And obviously the thing we haven't really touched on is just like how bad Eberflus and the staff is. And like
they're horrible.
It really is just disgusting.
It's gotten to the point where I don't even think it needs to be spoken of. I mean, obviously we're going to, but because of like, we know that they're not only should be gone as we speak, but they will be gone at the end of the year. They're lucky they coach for the organization they do. Otherwise they would have been out the door weeks ago.
Yeah. That drive when the Bears got the ball back and we wasted all of 20 something seconds was just disgusting to give the ball right back to Goff. And I will say too, the Lions look a little sleepy to me.
Yeah.
I would bet that they look a lot better in a couple weeks when we see them at Soldier Field. I would bet.
I don't know that. I thought they were really good for a minute. I think it might be smoke and mirrors. That team's not winning shit in the playoffs.
I think their defense is a little lackluster, but I don't think.
I mean, you can go and look. I could be very wrong here, but how many times I don't know what the final was to their game against the Ravens a few weeks back, but I know it's 35-0 at one point. There's no Super Bowl teams that lose 35 or down by 35 points in a regular season game. I don't know. Come on.
That happens.
How often does that happen? That team, that's not an NFC championship team. It's the best.
They weren't yesterday, but like, look, when they had to make plays when the game was on the line, they did it.
I saw a stat today. It was the first time ever in the history of the NFL in the Super Bowl era through, I want to say it was 48 games where the Bears had 40 minutes of time of possession, which is crazy. It's awesome and crazy. Yeah. 4+ takeaways and less than one turn or one or less.
3+3 in the turnover battle and 40 minutes possession. So for the teams were 48-0 prior to that. Yeah.
I mean, Dave, you got to give them a little bit of credit for putting it all together at the end there. It truly was.
Oh, they're a good team. It's the best Lions team that there's been in decades, probably in my lifetime, honestly. I don't remember a better Lions team than this.
It's the first time since 1970 that the Lions and the Browns have both had 7 or more wins through 10 games.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But it was like it's almost the unstoppable force versus the immovable object. Like, are the Bears going to bear or are the Lions going to lion? And the Lions, Jared Goff, is for as bad as a game he had. Like you said, there were a couple unlucky breaks. They
did get lucky a couple times too.
Yeah, that's true.
Jalen had a couple pick sixes. Yeah,
missed a wide open interception.
Yeah,
and the Lions kind of put it together, and that's not something a historic Lions team would do. So they got a solid squad to say the least. Like, listen, if you don't want to give them Philly and 49ers credit yet, I understand, but it's a good team in the NFC this year for sure.
Yeah, I think that they'll win a playoff game. They're gonna host one, and then they'll probably end up playing. I don't know. It could be Dallas. I could see them beating Dallas. I could see them beating whoever comes out of the NFC South. Like I think they're a pretty good team. I don't think they didn't look great yesterday, especially offensively, but I think they're a pretty good team.
They're pretty good, but like, come on.
I mean, they're 8-2. They're pretty good.
Dave, you just refuse to give Detroit any credit, huh?
I gave them a lot of credit earlier in the year, but I've watched them enough over the last few weeks where I'm like,
yeah,
not quite. Which is, I don't think that's a crazy take. Lions fans are shitting down my throat because I said they're the same old Lions. obviously they're not the same old Lions, but they're a playoff team. But
Yeah, they're not 0-16. That's the same old line.
Yeah, like they definitely deserve to shit down your throat.
Yeah, give them their flowers, Dave.
yeah, go ahead. I mean, but them coming back and beating the Bears doesn't change my perception of them whatsoever. That's what Lions fans are coming back for.
I think you're underselling being down 12 with 3 and change to play and having to execute every single thing perfectly to be able to win that game, and they did it. And both sides of the ball, and to do that in crunch time when you needed to and to get it done, I think you can give them some praise for that.
Yeah, they're a solid, good football team, but I mean, Goff's not going to be there forever.
They should re-sign him.
Yeah, they're for sure.
How old is Goff now? 30?
Probably about that.
Yeah.
Almost 30.
Why would he not be there forever?
I mean, Father Time wins.
Yeah. I mean, he could play for another 7 years before that's a problem.
Just turned 29 last month.
Yeah, that's not a
It's never. I don't know. Maybe the Lions will be around for a minute. I don't know. They got to prove to me they're not the Lions before I think that anything has changed.
It does feel like they have a good culture, and like the way that the guys are jacked up on the sidelines. I like their offense coordinator. I like Aaron Glenn. I like Cam, but like they got it cooking. I think they're pretty good.
Yeah, maybe I'm very wrong, and
they're gonna win this division handily. No doubt about it.
But and here to put things into perspective, with Justin Fields. Hold on, let me pull these up real quick.
This is a good tweet I saw too. This guy Brendan Segru, the Broncos, Vikings, and Bears all entered Week 6 at 1-4. Sean Payton, obviously they got them back to 5-5. Kevin O'Connell, they got them without Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins at 6-5, and we're just where we're at.
That says it all right there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, and that goes back. I mean, I can't. It's that Ryan Poles, opening press conference. We're going to take back the North. We're going to take the North and never give it back, or whatever that quote was. They have not won a game in the division in 2 years, and they've had.
I don't know if we will unless we beat the Packers in the finale.
Yeah, I don't think it's impossible for them to beat Minnesota, but yeah, I would, or Detroit at home. But yeah, I
agreed. I don't think it's impossible since since Minnesota lost last week. I think they'll be looking a little better.
No, I mean they will probably, and they should probably win. But it's that to me is like you probably just have to fire everybody, and and it's like the little things, and that defense where you go get Montez Sweat. He did have a sack yesterday, and the Lions tackles. That Penei Sewell he's awesome. Like they had. That, and we said this earlier, like teams with dudes, like they got some dudes, like that Amon-Ra St. Brown is a dude as well. And then they got Monty as a tone center, Gibbs, like they got a lot of guys. I like that Laporta as a pass catching tight end. I am much higher on the Lions than you are, Dave, but yeah, it's just
I like them too. Monty and Jahmyr Gibbs and running back, Goff does just enough. I
think Monty for having a good year. They drafted that first round running back Gibbs, and good for him. I love Monty.
Yeah, good for him as well.
He's had a great year.
But yeah, it is. But back with the Bears, it's like that defense does feel like it's so far away because you signed Edmonds to be like your Roquan replacement, your leader of that front seven. He's been terrible. And then and then Eddie Jackson. So like your two big veterans were guys that cost you the game yesterday. And it's just, I don't know. It feels like they're further. And then Johnson's a free agent as a corner. And he didn't, if he's a number one, which I know statistically, like, the PFF crowd, like Johnson grades out very well. Amon-Ra St. Brown did kind of whatever he wanted in that game, especially that second half. Felt like he was open a lot. So I don't know. It just, so that gets back to like the is it better to just start over with a new quarterback and try to, and we're going to be bad for another 2 or 3 years, or try to get to the playoffs with Fields, but it's like, and surround and make that defense great, but it feels like the defense is really far away too. So it's like, there's no clear path to being competent again.
Yeah. All right, then we can wrap this up. Shout out to Miller Lite. I was at a Bears bar, Chicago bar in San Diego. I was enjoying some Miller Lights. It was awesome. They were singing Bear Down when things were good, and obviously when things were not good, they were not. But Miller Lite was there. It was ice cold. You guys had some hunting, I assume, too, right?
Oh no.
So we were cleaning ducks, having a few campfire Miller Lights. It was great.
Beautiful. Beautiful. You guys could have Miller Lite too if you're listening, and you could get it delivered right to your door if you go to MillerLite.com/Redline, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that they sell beer. Just make sure you celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories, 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. Yeah, as long as
Keep losing, right?
What?
Keep losing. It's always fun to root for losses.
It's not fun. I didn't say it's fun, because it's naturally hard.
I'm joking. It's not fun. I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
I haven't rooted for a fucking actual win. Like, obviously I have, but like, it's been more beneficial for my teams to lose than to win for like years now.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying.
Sucks.
It does suck, but it's our unfortunate reality. So that's where we're at.
Yeah.
All right, then. That's it. Back tomorrow. Live show on our YouTube. Tune into that. Obviously, regular show. I think we're going to put that one out on Wednesday, I believe, since Thursday is Thanksgiving. And then we'll see you next week. Bears Monday night against the Vikings. Go crazy, folks. See you next time.